This is Mirabella's Kitchen, and today I'm making milk bread. If you'd like to cook with me, please check the description below for a list of the ingredients and a shout out to my patrons. Thought I would take you on a little baking journey this week. I did have a few mishaps, but we'll get to that. I take a medium-sized mixing bowl, I add 1 large egg and whisk it. I add 3 tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk. One teaspoon instant yeast. And I whisk that together. One-fourth cup skim milk. Two cups of all-purpose flour. One-half teaspoon coarse kosher salt. And I start to mix this together and it's very crumbly, like way too crumbly. It should be sticky still and it shouldn't be a ball or anything, but it was falling apart like pie crust. So I tried to get this to stick together by adding some more milk. I added way too much milk, which means I had to add more flour to make up for that. I also add in 2 tablespoons of softened butter at this point as well while I'm mixing everything together. But it got way too moist. I needed more flour to kind of balance it out, and I think I messed up the ratio with this because it didn't rise as much as I wanted to later. I put some flour on my work surface and I start to roll out the dough to knead it. It's very sticky still at this point, so I'm just trying to get this to become smooth and no longer sticky. I believe I kneaded for about 5 to 10 minutes. It may have needed a bit more, and it should also be stretchy. I'm going to be adding this into a greased bowl, so I'm putting olive oil into a large bowl, and I'm going to use paper towel to swirl it all around and coat it. The ball will go into that and then be covered and let it sit until it doubles in size. I let it sit for well over an hour. It did not double in size. It did increase. I did a check. And I know it increased in size, it just didn't double, so maybe it needed more time. I take it out of the bowl, and I'm going to separate this into 6 pieces. So I'm going to cut it in half and then cut it each half into thirds. I roll the pieces into balls. And this is where my camera kind of went wonky on me. I take a 8x8 or you can use a 9x9 baking dish and I coat it with some oil. And then I use a rolling pin to roll out each ball into an oval. After that, you take the edges of the oval and start to pat them out with the pads of your fingers and form it into a rectangle. And I have a small clip where I started to do this and then my camera just stopped recording on me. After that, you roll it into a log and then you close it with the seams and then you put it into the baking dish. Let it sit covered for 40 minutes and then use an egg wash on the outside with a brush. So I use the egg white of a large egg plus 2 teaspoons of water, whisk that together and then coat it with a brush. Then I put the bread into the oven, 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I got a very nice color, but I was hoping it would be nice and shiny, and it wasn't. So I'm still working that out, but it got a really beautiful color. I use a butter knife to separate the edges from the side of the baking dish, and I flip it out onto a cooling rack to let it cool. And this bread really turned out wonderful. It tasted really yummy. I think it might be a good addition to my upcoming Thanksgiving. I'm still working that out, but that is my milk bread. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Thursday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.